A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Second. All right, we are good to go. All right, hello everybody. It is a different thing than a retreat where we've got a lot of stuff. We actually need to get we spent a lot of time today and with our anointings and all of the prayers that we had today. So we want to make sure that we can address all of the issues we want to address with you, answer your questions, but we also want to be out of here because we have another church that meets every afternoon on Sunday after we meet. So I'm going to leave these back here and pass them out. So this is a town hall that is a Q&A heavy town hall. So we're going to do 4 things. After I am done introducing anybody that doesn't know who we are, and especially anybody who's online, to the L.A.M. board, we're going to have Dave Weevil, our new treasurer, talk about the budget, and that's what we've been handing out for you to look at. I'm going to share with you, for those of you who weren't there and haven't had a chance to look at it, a visual of the vision that we have for the church. We're going to talk about the L.A.M. and how the L.A.M. is meant to free you up to do the mission and meet the vision. And then we're going to, hang on, I forgot the 4th thing. We're going to talk about the, it turned off to the right one. The teams that you can join to help us run the show, basically, because we are not here to tell you what to do. We're here as a L.A.M. Our job is to be open and, the last thing I'm going to do is show you how to get into our document so that you can see what we're doing. Because the L.A.M. is the Leadership Accountability Missions Board, and we need to hold ourselves accountable, and you need to hold us accountable to make sure that we are getting stuff done. And our agenda is a different kind of agenda. So I'm going to, at the very end, for anybody who's interested and wants to know how to read it and see what's going on, you might find your name on there in a couple of places because we're asking for people to do things for us and with us. I'll get on my computer and you'll see how to do that. So the very first thing is Dave Weevil. If you don't have a PDF of the budget, I have them here on the pew, and I'll bring one to you if you just raise your hand. And Dave, go ahead and come on up. Oh, I was supposed to introduce everybody. I'm Amy Warren. I am the bellwether of the L.A.M. We have on our L.A.M. now 11 members. Reverend Lori, by default, the minister, will be on the L.A.M. We have Becky Weevil. She is there because she's the chair of SPRC. We have Dave Weevil. He's there because he's the treasurer. We've got Brian Cook is one of our at-large members. We have Linda Flanagan. She is there because she is the lay servant, the certified lay leader, and the lay leader of our church. So that's a position that will be also there. We have Rod Peltzer because he is the chairperson of the Good Shepherd Education Center committee. What is it? Board of Directors. Gosh, thank you. And then there are others. Mars is also by default on the team. Darla is another at-large member, like Brian. Is that everybody? I don't know how many I just invited. Joanne Olson, who is not here today, is our, I was going to say treasurer. She's our secretary. So if you have questions about the L.A.M. at any time, we are the actual board with the votes. But you are all invited to join us at every single meeting because you are also part of the actual working hands and feet of the church. You are the working hands and feet of the church, and we're not doing everything without you. So I'm going to go ahead and let David come up and present to you the budget that we worked on that I already talked about 2 weeks ago. Go ahead.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Yes, it's still morning, everybody. Okay, I'm Dave Weevil. I'm your new treasurer. A couple of things first before I get started with all this fun stuff. Got some thank yous. I'm replacing a guy that did this for 26 years. So I have huge, I won't ever be able to fill his shoes. But Dan Sansbury has been with me every week since I started this. He's there for me every day, by text, by phone, whatever I need, he's there. So So I'm not on an island. Dan is helping me out quite a bit. So Dan, if you're out there, thanks, my friend. Appreciate it. I have a finance team that's with me too, that keeps me in line, keeps me on the straight and narrow, and helps me fix all the mistakes I've made, for sure. So Bob Dawson's back there. He's my rock. Brian Cook in the corner. Terry Schlegel's back there too. Darla Bardine is here somewhere. She was here. And my assistant, Linda Crosby. So for 2 months, it took us 2 months to get the checkbook squared away with the bank. And for 2 months, Linda signed every single check I did. All the way. So thank you all very much. I appreciate all of your help and support. I couldn't have done this or begun to do this without you, so thank you. So a couple things real quick. Just to simplify this down as best I can for everyone. Church runs on two different pieces of finance. We have our current expense block, which is what we budget for, and we have our designated funds section where you all give to various ministries across the church, different things like the music program and youth ministry and all that. And if you can see it up there, we've put up there the actual drop-down menu when you go into our giving system, whether online or on your phone or whatever. And you can see all the different funds that are available to give to. And there's a lot. There's a ton of them up there. And they change throughout the year for special offerings and different things. But the ones we're going to talk about mostly today are at the top of that, Doug. All the current expense general fund is up there. There's a new one up there called Close the Gap, which we'll get to in a little bit. But it is up there for you to choose. So sorry? Sure, is the microphone not close enough? I'm sorry. Okay. So all the funds are up there that you have the option to give to. So just wanted to make sure everybody has seen that before. I think most of you have, but that's where that all is. So if we just go to the budget, Doug, real quick, bring up the PDF. So most of you have a copy of this. This is a simplified version of our budget. It's believe it or not, it is simplified, but it's a lot there. So there's two major blocks of this one, too. Our total budget this year is $393,000. The L.A.M.B has debated this long and hard and made some difficult choices, had some very long conversations. It's talking about money is not the most comfortable thing in the world. So grant us all some grace with all this, because it was difficult. So two big blocks. The first block is the SPRC block. That's the payroll part. 60, and you can see it there. 63%, I think, is what it says. It's an eye chart, I know, but 63.4% of our total budget is payroll related. And then the second big box is towards the bottom there. 31.5% is our operating expenses. I won't go through line by line, but those are all the different things. Those are all the different costs to keep our church running day in and day out. If you have any questions about this stuff, I'll be around later. I'm here every Sunday almost, so by all means, if you have any questions, please let us know. Doug, if you scroll to the next part, the income part. There's the income part. It's on the flip side of your PDF there. And those are all the different revenue streams that we do have. We're planning our offering line at a 1% increase to last year, so not very much. It's actually about even. It's more even than anything. But as you can see, when you take our expense budget and our income budget, we have a shortfall of a little over $35,000. So we approved the budget with a $35,000 deficit. So we've identified a close the gap budget of $37,000 that we need to raise to have our balanced budget. So that's our challenge, $37,000. So we've put that close the gap fund on the Subsplash menu for anyone to choose. The good news is we've already had some donations already to close the gap. We've had over $6,000 so far already in the first few weeks that we've had it open. So our left to go is about $30,000. So we've already made some significant progress there. So that is where we are. If anyone has any questions, I've oversimplified this a ton, but let us know, and we'll be happy to answer any questions about the operating budget or about any of the designated funds that anyone wants to talk about. Okay?
Okay, we did a good job talking about the budget with you guys. So I wanted to clarify that where it says the Close the Gap status, the top one was a memorial gift, and that was a memorial gift to Henry and Mary Ellen Douglas. Can I ask you to hold that? Then we won't do that. And that was donated to the church, and the line was for anything you need. And so that was actually a donation from, I don't know, a relation? A friend, someone that knew Helen and Mary Helen. I'm not good with names. The Douglases. So that actually helped us meet our payroll the week that we needed it. So God is watching us. A lot of that is this. However, after I got up here and explained what we were doing, we had additional above our pledge offerings to the general fund come in. So that's the other 1,310. So, there's God in it, there's us in it. We've been pounding the budget, and if nobody has any questions, I am happy to go to the next thing. So, because, awesome. Okay, so next in line is, and the other thing about the budget is that we do intend to put those on here. We just were looking for the right color green so that it all looked pretty, and we have it now. It'll be up here by next Sunday, I promise. I'm going to flip the money away, or the discussion away from the money, and I'm going to just show you a visual. If you attended our retreat, this was the activity that we did. If you read up on the activity, or read the email that I sent, or any of the paper copies, this is the final result of the vision. So the vision that we have for the church is the 3 things that Jesus told us that we were supposed to do. Love God and love people. Those were the 2 commandments that he answered when the person answered. And then the last thing he told us to do was to go and make disciples. Now, each one of those has 2 sections. So the first section, or the first aspect, is more of an inward or a within ourselves type of thing. So when we're talking about loving God within ourselves, we're talking about how we take care of our worshiping God, how we worship and how we have our Bible studies and those sorts of things, but to take care of us here. And then we have another aspect, which is how we take care of each other within the church. So the Stephen Ministries is down here, the things that we do for each other that are in the church, the part of our family that we still have, that are together. Then we have love people, and we have ourselves inwardly and our people, but then we also have other people. And some of these are our neighborhood, and some of these are far away across the world. Some of these are our missions to Africa, and all of these. And then the last thing is to make disciples, and this is making ourselves disciples, being disciples and still learning and following. And then this is making disciples of others. And this is where our mission is. This block right here is our church's mission. So if you can see what's on this is the important thing to see. If you can see this, you see we're really good at loving God, and we're really good at loving people, right? But the discipleship is a lot smaller. The other thing that you need to see is that some of these are colors. The yellow things are the things that we already do. The orange things are the things that our United Women in Faith do. There's a blue one in there that talks about different beyond that the United Methodist men have done. And we have some things that are just getting started that haven't really taken off in pink. And then we have future things that we brainstormed that are in green. So we have a lot of thoughts and ideas. Not as many of them are over here where our mission is. And this is kind of where we need to be putting our efforts. So we're going to have this up. It'll be out on the easel for you to look at more closely if you haven't had a chance to see what some of these ideas are. And what we really need to do is, because the Lamb is, we're not telling you what to do. We don't want to direct you. I don't want to be in charge. Please don't put me in charge of everything. None of us on this committee want to do this. The congregation as a whole, you are the people who are doing the mission. You are the people who are meeting the vision. If you have thoughts and ideas and you'd like to try them, bring them on. If you have a special talent that you'd like to share, bring it on. If you know your gifts, figure out where you should be. That's the next piece that we're going to talk about, is the 6 teams. But do you have any questions about the vision and how this played out from the last retreat that we had, where we had congregation involvement? This is going to be a really short town hall. Okay. So I'll put that out. And then the other thing that you're going to see outside are on the windows to outside, and then on the windows to the box right outside are the 6 names of our teams. And these are the teams that have specific jobs. So Dave already got up here and introduced you to the people who are already on his finance team. They don't have to be the only people on the finance team. We need people who want to write grants, who want to look up grants, we need people who will help us with fundraisers. We need all sorts of things, and the finance team is one of those. Another team is Doug's team. It's the FAQ. That stands for Facilities Action Coin. I was going to say the wrong thing. Facilities Action Coin, and a coin is the cornerstone that holds things together. So it's basically what used to be the trustees. Right now in this new system, what we've got is the L.A.M.B operate as the official trustees. I'm supposed to sign contracts. I haven't had any yet. So, and those sorts of things. But we actually aren't the ones that are going to come and fix the toilets when they break and things like this. The FAQ are the hands and feet people who do that. And there have been many people involved in the trustees. We can have more. We need more. We need everybody to get involved somehow. So that's 2. We have a new communication team, and Penny, raise your hand. Penny is our new strong lead for the communications team, and we're going to do things that are going to help us, A, communicate with the church better, and B, communicate with other people better. So one of the things on our agenda for the 22nd is the sign outside. We really need to beef up our sign. When people came and noticed that we didn't have Happy Mother's Day on there last Sunday, was that last Sunday? Then we missed out on some opportunities to communicate. So we are also having a social aspect. Valerie Miller is going to be helping Penny with some online and some presence in the young things that the people are doing these days. So that's a communications team. That's a lot. Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I'm going to be helping Valerie
Oh.
with the Facebook page. We're both working together for the website and reformatting the newsletters.
Okay, so I'm going to repeat that. So right now, Penny is actually helping Valerie reformat the website so that it's more modern and hip and does what it's supposed to do. But they're also reformatting the newsletter. But we have a lot of other things that the communication team needs to work on.
She's helping me do the website,
She's helping you do the website.
and we're both working together on the newsletter, and she's going to handle the Facebook page.
So she'll do the social media. So, okay, so I'm saying it backwards. You know what? We do have a roving that I gave to Dave. So if we have other, I gave it to you. Thank you. If you want to say something, our people who are, thanks, Dave. Our people who are at home and watching can't hear us unless we're on the mic, and me repeating it is not necessarily the best way to get our message out. Whoop. Okay, try now. No.
Yeah, hi everyone. The sign was my fault that we dropped the ball Mother's Day, but I was dealing with family burial with my mom. But Father's Day will be on top of it, and if anybody has any information, the church office will have my contact info directly, so you can always, obtain that and then email me. Okay?
Well, thank you, and we're praying for you in this loss. That was a rough thing to do. It is not necessarily your fault. As the strong team lead, you are not responsible for doing everything, but you are responsible for helping other people to make sure they know what their positions are and getting those things done. So we are still looking for a strong team lead for hospitality. And hospitality is not just what Kim and Allie do, where they're feeding us every Sunday. And that hospitality is also being a presence in the church and in the community, so that when people come to use the building, there's somebody here and they meet us and we form relationships, because we're not going to be making disciples if we're not going to be creating relationships with the people in our neighborhood or the people that we meet wherever we are. So that hospitality, years ago we read a book and it had a chapter called Radical Hospitality, and there's a whole group of I forget which, Franciscans? No, are they Franciscans? Who believe in radical hospitality. Basically, somebody likes what you're wearing, you take it off and give it to them. It's radical, and that's the kind of thing that we need. So we need a strong chair for hospitality, team lead for hospitality. We don't have one yet. Then we have, I haven't done them all yet. So, discipleship, of course, and worship. So worship is how we do this. So if you want to read scripture or do the peace and prayer or be a part of communion service or have suggestions or would like to help with the worship team, they meet during the week on Mondays. Lori and Bud Campbell and the music department and Linda, and they all figure out what's going on. Try to keep it within the hour 15. It gets rough, but they're doing the best they can. And they could use help too. They could use volunteers. Linda's looking for somebody to do peace and prayers every single Sunday. That's another team. And then the last team is discipleship. We actually have a team that's a discipleship. Now our strong team lead is actually Alan, and Mars is also on discipleship team. So they're not even here with us because right now they're teaching Sunday school. They're doing discipleship right now. So they're actively doing discipleship, but as we saw on the sheet, the vision, that's the weakest area, and that's the area where we need lots and lots of people to help. So the thing that you're going to do is I'll put this out. You can look at it. You can look at the ideas. You're going to do 3 things. You're going to look here and look at what's here. You're going to look around and find the team that you think, or teams, you could do more than one, that you think you would like to be involved in. So, and sign up, put your name on the board. And then there's a list, also some Post-it notes out there. If you have other ideas for how to do these things that you don't see on this, add them. We're not limited to what's on this. Ray, let's get you
Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. So on Sunday, we talked about the mission. We started a group of folks that are actually looking at outreach for homeless mission. And I noticed it wasn't on the list. I'm not saying that it was mentioned, but I want to mention that to folks in the church, that if they want to join us, they're welcome to do that. Pastor Godfrey and myself and several other folks, Linda, of course, Doris, we all are looking for volunteers to help us with that. It'll be great if the church knows about that and that we're still pursuing that. So if you want to do that with us, we're welcome to come after, usually after church on Sundays.
And so that's both a mission and outreach, and it's discipleship. So put the idea on the board. There's a little box of sticky notes, and they're different, so that they're a different color than all the ones that we used already. I don't remember what they're white with some words on them. And then there are some pens. So write your name on one of the teams. Write your sticky note ideas that we don't have on the board already. and become become an active participant in doing those sorts of things. Okay, so that was the third thing on the agenda. Do you have any questions about that process? And we really would like everybody in the church to actually align with at least one team so that we can make sure that everybody has a role. You have a role. Everybody does have a role. We just need it to be defined by you so that we can get you moving, get you going. Because, the 11 of us that sit at the table and talk about things and discuss things, and the few people that we've had come to our meetings. So Laura's been at our meetings, Bob's been at most of our meetings, Kathy came to the first one. We were just getting started. It wasn't the funnest. We've had Dave Marjoram come. Anybody's welcome to come. Welcome, and you're welcome to participate. You're welcome to break in and ask questions. I'm trying to keep the meetings to an hour. That didn't work when we were doing budget. Our next meeting is May 22nd. And this is what I'd like to show you. It's the last thing. So if you don't have any questions about the process when we leave, I'm going to go back and sit at my computer, and I'm going to show you how you can see how transparent we are, see all the decisions that we've made. Not every single word that we've said, but the final outcomes of our discussions. I'm going to invite you to our agenda. I have to figure out how to share the link with everybody. I don't have everybody's email, but I'm going to walk back and do that. Is everybody okay with listening to me and looking up on the screen? Okay, so I'm going to come back. I got to sign back into my computer and get it going. So what will happen when you look in your, I'm going to have to stop talking so I can type in my password right now. Hang on. Okay, so what'll happen is your mail, however your mail looks, will have this new mail, and it'll be a link to the L.A.M.B shared folder. And anything, can we make that bigger a little bit?
Actually, you have to.
How do I make it bigger?
Press the control and then scroll up. I don't know what your scrolly thing is.
All right, well, you know what, I'm just gonna, you see this word that my cursor is on underneath? No, it's too small. All right, I don't have all of the pieces on my, there it is, okay.
There you go.
It's 2 fingers, it's a new computer to me, sorry guys. Okay, so here's the email. Always that extra thing that I don't want. And it says link to, it says L.A.M.B, and there's the link right here. So anything that you see in this, and it's going to be on the Google Drive, basically. So Google is totally 100% free to the church with all the different things that we use. We could use Meet for our meetings if we want. We can use the Doc for our documents. We can use Sheets for any Excel spreadsheets. We can use Slides, I think it's called, for PowerPoints, all of these things. If it's blue and underlined, more than likely there's a link, okay? If you click on it, you go right to it. So this is the drive. You see the triangle? This is like your filing cabinet. Our filing cabinet has files within it, okay? The L.A.M.B share, I'll click it open again, has files within it. Let me make it bigger. All right, you see how those are? So we have our governance documents in the top file, and if I open it, I like this view because you can see the names of what they are. Here's our covenant that we adopted, our promise. Here's our guiding principles. Those are the things that are governing, who we can be, who we can have on our board, how our board runs, how we're going to do what we do. We had an announcement that Dan was retiring. That made us have to change who our L.A.M.B board is. Anytime you need to contact any L.A.M.B board people, if you click on this, it opens up, and there's a spreadsheet with our names and our roles. And your emails, we have 1 and 2. There's a cell number, so you can contact us. It's right there. And then here's the vision of the L.A.M.B, and that is what I was just showing you, but it's bigger and it's on lots of pages. But anytime you click on these, they're not underlined, but if you double click on them, they'll open up and you'll see it. So you see, this is the briefer version without all the sticky notes of the vision. Let me see if I can get it big again. There it goes. Okay. So you see the three things that Jesus told us to do: love God, love people, and make disciples, are across the top. And the near or inward aspects are worshiping together, is loving God, loving people within our local community, and making disciples of ourselves, or being disciples. And the farther reaching or outward aspects are loving God by taking care of each other within the church, praying for, supporting, fellowship, shepherding visits, etc. Loving people farther away from our local community, so that's when we send people off to ASP or when we send money off to Keswa. And then making disciples of other people, and our mission is right here in this vision. All of these are in the governing document, let me squeeze again, folder, and you can also see them a different way. You might be used to seeing them like this. This is not as comfortable for me because the names get truncated. So I'd rather click up here and see the list. If you ever get lost and you get stuck, click the little thing that looks like lines. Go back to the share folder. There are 4 other folders. Okay, organizational tools for teams. I'm going to teach the Team Strong leads about these. And they're just documents that help them get things done. They're agendas, they're planning, organizational tools, and things like that. Missional team folders haven't really been used yet either, but each missional team, communications, discipleship, FAQ, finance, hospitality, worship, those are the 6 that I mentioned. We also have the GSEC board, the nominations committee, the SPRC, United Methodist Men, and the United Women of Faith, because they have their own documents, and we might like to have some reports and things from them. So these are just for them, but again, since we're trying to be transparent, we're going to let them have mission. If they want to share something with the whole church, it can go right in their folder. And then we have our working documents. And this is where you're going to find the agenda. The top file, I'll make it bigger again, is the retreat. So this is all the documents we used to do the retreat. The middle file is where our meeting documents are. And since we started doing stewardship minutes, anytime I have a presentation that somebody has given me, I've kept it in there. So the initial one that I gave, and if you run it over and you see it do that little right there, it'll let you know whether there's been changes, and then you can click on it because there is a top to that little box. Anyway, I'll show you that on the different one. So there's the initial presentation that I gave to you. In there. But what we want to do is go back out to the L.A.M.B working documents as a whole and look for the L.A.M.B meeting documents. The agenda that we use is called a rolling agenda. It is all on one big long list, and we just keep rolling down. And you might think that would be hard to deal with because you're adding more and more and more to the bottom. There are some documents in here that if you try to click on them, you will not be able to click on them. They are in progress documents. So if you can't open something, it'll tell you, sorry, you can't see that, or ask for permission. And then you'll send an email to L.A.M, which is me, and I'll say, we're not finished with that, so we'll share that with you when we're done. Or, did you get on that committee? Yes, I'll open the document to you so you can see it. Okay? So we're still working on the organizational chart and the action plan. We're going to have a small, if anybody wants to sign up for that, let us know. The documents for 2025 that we have in our meetings are each going to be in these files. So we've got January, February, March, April, and April. So this was March's first meeting that we were doing budget. This was the meeting that we had 2 weeks later, which was not a normal meeting. It was not a normally called meeting. So these are A and B, and then there's April. And in there are all of the reports that people have filed. Once again, if you want to go back to the outside folder, so these are folders within the folder. So this is the name of the folder where this is the January folder. This is the 2025 folder that has all of the folders within it. If you go back here, this is where the rolling agenda is. Well, this document PDF is just for me. It's what I make a template of, the PDF of what's finished. So we always have a record of what's done. This is our L.A.M rolling agenda. At the top, all of these that are underlined, they don't go to other documents. They're bookmarks up here, except for the ones that say PDFs, because those are in the files I just showed you. So if you roll your mouse over, if you click on it, if it's bookmark, and you want to see February 27, I just click on the bookmark and it goes to the February 27th meeting. And immediately, boom, you're there. Okay? And then you can see everything that we've done. Now I'll scroll back and you can see how long that was that it had to just go. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Let me make it big. I keep forgetting to make it bigger because I keep getting in the wrong section of it. So hold on. I have to be on the right side of the screen first. Okay. Let us make it bigger. Here we go. Okay. So if I want to see the January meeting and I go to the bookmark, I go right to the inaugural meeting. Then we scroll up. There are some things at the top that'll help you explain things. The PDF is the final copy of the agenda, which includes the minutes in color. So the agenda in black are what we talked about, who talked about it. The color, if it's brown, that means that's what we think should be in the agenda. That's what Joanne and I basically, and Linda when Joanne is not there, both ladies are doing a fantastic job with that, recording the decisions that we've made. But we come back the next month and we look to see if everybody agrees. And we don't vote on it, this is just a thing that we do by consensus. If everybody says, yeah, with that one little change that we made, that was a recap of the last meeting very well, we turned them green. There's a code, a color code list that's down here. Whoops, it's not moving because I'm not. And the best thing about Google is if you make a mistake like I just did, you just undo it. It goes away. There's an undo switch. This is undo. If you change something, it's an arrow that points to the left. So we have our doc that's ready to go through the whole year. The template is already set up. Let me scroll down a little bit. This one says all are welcome. All L.A.M.B meetings will be hybrid at 7. And right now, it'll be at this Zoom link. So all the information you need to join from anywhere in the world. The next section tells you about the color coding. And each is in the color. Let me bring that up big. So as of March 27th, the words written in black are part of the agenda structure. The minutes in the agenda are green, and if we have already approved of them. While they're incomplete or partial, because we haven't had a meeting to approve of them yet, they're brown. So anything brown is, we think this is right, but it might not be 100% right. Questions that come up when we're reviewing the meeting are in pink on one side. Let me scroll back down. Size back down. And then we have status updates. The pink questions are usually on the left, and the status updates for each action are on the right. Now we have a format for our meetings that came from the K-Catan book. We label the meeting up here. Let's see, and that should be, this is a live document, so if you type in it, I'll know, because I can check the version and see who was typing, and I can see what change you made. So this is the danger of this, but that is why we make a PDF of our meetings when they're finalized. We can always go back. It's saved constantly. So if you make a mistake or you put something in here, if you have questions, you can type in pink like we do. We list our attendance, and it's by last name of everybody who attended, and in the beginning, we had any church member who showed up, we would list that. Now we just list them alphabetically with everybody else. So we start with our prayer. We have a little bit of a spiritual formation. Hey, it's blue and underlined. That means you can click on it and see there's the passage that Joanne had us read. And if you want to open it up, you just click on it and it'll make it big. And if you don't, you can just click that little X and you'll go right back to where you were. So, and all of these documents are the ones that are in those folders because these were listed in those folders. Now, sometimes we're linking to an outside website and it'll look like this because it's just the URL. If it's one of our documents, it'll take you inside. If it's not, it'll go outside. In the beginning, we put our notes as we talked. So we needed to talk about the Ameriprise documentation for authority. I still actually need a document to prove that I was duly elected that I haven't been able to find in my records. But Dave is in there, thank goodness. So we have our connection. The person over here is usually the one who is bringing up the idea. Joanne was having us do the minutes from the meeting of the church council in Lamb, which was an emergency meeting we held. And so that's a link right there to that document. And then, so this is kind of little itty bitty pieces of business that we do. And one of those is always to have any information from any of our teams. At this point, we didn't have a specific check-in on our budget, and that was okay. But that is now one thing that we're checking every time. This was a discussion about the vision when I introduced it. Thank you, Doug. And the next two items on the agenda were us making sure that our covenant and our guiding principles were there. And you can see them. Now, we didn't have much discussion because we made changes in those documents as we did it. And then, here's our little bit of discussion. Reverend Lori organized them for us. And one of the things that we were supposed to do for Lori and I was to check to make sure that we needed to have the congregation vote or agree to these, and we both read that that didn't happen. So here's our status, and they were completed. We did both things that were listed in there. That got a little confusing, so we added some different things later. But here's when we talked about the budget. All of these in the middle, if the words are black, then that's what the discussion topic was going to be. If they're blue and underlined, you can go see the documents. Everything that's linked is linked. Then we had the discussion that we had, and these were actions that we took, especially if we vote. We figure out who moved it, who seconded it, and what the vote was. And we have our status completed. So that was an ongoing thing that we decided to do. There's a completed thing. At the end, we also have a what and a who and a when. This is where you might find your name. If we decide to do something like plan to dedicate and celebrate our new sign, and we say the United Methodist Men, our FAC team, and the worship team are going to work on this together, the drawback to this system was that we didn't say, okay, so who on this board is going to communicate with them and get it done? So that didn't happen for a while. We have recently tossed around the idea of having this sign dedication when we'll have people here for homecoming and probably be eating outside. So that's a thing that we'll probably be discussing in May at our next meeting. And then we have a closing prayer and we're done. This section down here is the reports. And for every meeting, there's also a section in the business. We're going to go over the minutes from the previous meeting. That is the actual PDF. And I think I need to update it because I think I've been actually going back and fixing some wording and some typos and things. And then the reports. The bookmark takes you to the bottom of the page for that day, and all of these are linked to the reports that were turned in for that meeting. And we don't have to spend our time at the meeting reading the reports. We don't have to have spend our time at the meeting having people tell us what's in the reports, because we have them a week ahead of time, and we are going to be reading them. And so the section in the agenda that we have is, does anybody have any questions about the reports that were included in the part below? And we've had some, and others we haven't. So that's that. We're trying to be efficient. We're trying to be open. Does anybody have any questions so far? I'm doing a lot of talking. No. They're all asleep, Doug. Okay. All right. So then we had to deal with Dan's resignation and finding, but we also had nominations committee find Dave Weevil, and that was part of our discussion. And then we always do an update on our financial position. And then we talked about grants. And we had some different things that came out. That's one of the things that we really need to get a move on, because grant season's almost over, but there are always grants open and available for everybody. So we need to find them. We need to use them. Then we have a leadership equipping. I didn't do it. We were going to do it through email because this meeting ran long. We had some things on the agenda that we talked a little bit about. We approved our covenant or our L.A.M.B guiding principles. Then we moved some to email. Okay, here's our list of what we're supposed to do. You see every list that starts with a 1 over here has a status, and you can say, where we are now. So this is when we, found Penny, who agreed to be our team strong lead for communication. and then you'll see all the reports. And we just do that, and that's how it works. So you'll see, and I'm going to just roll down. Oh, these are the questions that we're having. You know, we talked about our mission focus. We're adding $500 to young adult ministry. And the question was, do we have somebody who's going to lead this? And the answer was, yeah, Valerie Miller is going to lead a young adult ministry. That's just awesome. You know, that's one of the things that we've been trying to do for years. We got to get her what she needs, and we got to go forward. And one of the things that we're trying to do is not repeat too often. That's why this is crossed off. The same agenda item again, because it's already here in this document. So this is still finding people to be the L.A.M.B vice chair and the hospitality committee strong lead. We still need to get that done, but we already have that listed, so we're not going to try and list it twice every time. So what I have left in here is that it is listed in other action items. These are calls for comments. If you want to see a comment, you might find some things that are highlighted like this. That's an advanced thing. But these are all green because we had the next meeting. And I'm going to just scroll down and show you what they look like when, see how much talking we did. And we're not recording everything, but we're recording stuff. More questions, more updates, more statuses. Here was our last meeting in April. Now everything is brown because Joanne and I put what we thought we needed in here in brown. But we have not yet met, there it is, Henry, Mary Ellen Douglas, and all of the different things that we talked about, but we haven't met yet to approve those minutes. And then if you want to keep scrolling down the page, here is the setup for next month, and there's June, and there's July, and see how it works? This is called a rolling agenda. And that is how we plan to be transparent for you. You don't have to ask us except for give me the link in an email, and I will send you an email link. And then all you have to do is save that link somewhere or save that email so that you can refer to it again. Are there any questions about that?
You should be able to bookmark it.
You can bookmark it. You can put these things up here are called bookmarks. So in your emails, sometimes what you do is you put a star, and then when you want to look for a specific email over here where it says more, and I'll make it bigger now, you can find your starred, right here, your starred list. So now this one is a starred list of emails that I thought were important to be able to access later. So you can do that, or you can take the link out of the email like this, click on it, and then what you do is you put the star, it's up here on the right. See where my cursor is? If you star that, it'll add it to your bookmark, and you want to add it to your bookmark bar. Done. This is where you click every time now to get into the L.A.M share folder. Okay? So that's how we're trying to be transparent with you. That's how we're trying to share everything with you. That is the end of my TED Talk. Thanks for coming. Does anybody have any questions at all about any of that? And if you're not tech savvy, that's okay. You can see it on your phone. You can ask us. I'll bring my computer every Sunday if somebody wants to come and see what's going on. We want your involvement. We want your input. We want you to become the doers of all the things that we do. All those things on the vision, they're the doings. I'm going to take the board out now, and I'd please, Lori, would you do us a favor and let us dismiss with a prayer? And I'm going to go.
I'd like to make one comment.
Sure, absolutely.
For those on the live stream and those here in the room that was difficult to see on the board, go to the YouTube channel, and you can rewatch everything that was demonstrated to you in the larger format. So make sure that if it was difficult to see on our projectors, because our projectors can't do the details, but the details will be on the YouTube channel. So
Awesome.
go, and if you need help getting to the YouTube channel, of course, give me a holler. And
Great.
Brian Cook?
Got me?
Yeah.
We good? Thank you. I just wanted to I just have two things that I saw through here that I just wanted to bring up. one of the things is our giving. We have this challenge here of this deficit that we're trying to close. But you got to understand, if you look on the back of your page and you see the income offering budget of $295,351, that number is a guesstimate. It is not an actual number. So if people decide to give to close the gap and not commit to the original ties that they usually do every year, we're not going to close the gap. We're just going to be spinning our wheels. So you have to understand this close the gap is unfortunately an addition that we're asking to try and fill, along with trying to keep that offering line item to where it's supposed to be. We didn't budget, but a little bit, because every year there's going to be income increases with everything. One of the areas that I found that would be easy to help close the gap is our taxes. A lot of people had returns on their income taxes that's not a normal income that you get in your family. Think about tithing 10% of that and put that towards your income for your close the gap. Those are little ideas to try and help make that happen, but you just got to understand this close the gap number is a moving target number. If we don't get the top line, the bottom line is going to be just as big at the end of the year, and then we're not meeting what we need to try and meet. So that was one of the other things. The other thing makes me sad. We have about 30 people here. Before this started, we had 90 people in the service. We lost 2/3 of our congregation going out the door and not staying for this. Those are the people that were in here that we need to go and reach out to, because we lost 2/3 of our congregation today that walked out the door before we had this town meeting, so they have no idea what we're talking about, or they don't want to have any interest in that. So as stewards of the church, I think we need, including myself, need to take some responsibility to talk to the people that did leave today and explain to them how important this is, and get their eyes open to be able to help as well. Instead of having just the few doing all of it, we need to have the whole congregation help do all of it. And it's strength in numbers. And if we don't have the numbers, that's why we get weak. Thank you.
Mike too. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for your hard work. Can you please express your appreciation for all that she is doing? She's called herself a bellwether instead of the chair because that means something. She's trying to set the tone. She's trying to help us to understand the direction we're supposed to be going, to see what the temperature is of the congregation, to understand the messages we need to be sending. She's doing a fantastic job, and she needs our support. I do want to reiterate what Brian said. Please make sure others in the congregation are aware of this. We can have copies of this budget available, in the next couple of weeks if people want to pick one up. We can send it out to the congregation, but you've got to read that which we offer. Help us out by doing that. I also just feel led to share one more thing. There's a piece missing in this budget. We are requested by our annual conference to offer what's called mission shares, which helps support the work of the annual conference and the general church. We have had to make a very difficult decision with this budget to not include in our budget anything for those mission shares. We have persons who are giving designated giving that will pay for part of those mission shares, but we will not get even near 50% this year on that. And so I just need you to be aware that while we say we're 30,000 at this point short, we're really short more than that because we're not able to fully meet the obligations that we are in covenant with our annual conference to meet, and I need you to know that. I also need you to know that the mission share factor, the benevolence factor that they use as a percentage of certain amounts of our budget, to set what our mission shares are has been lowered again this year. We voted on that this year at annual conference. So our mission shares theoretically should come down a bit next year, but they're in the $50,000 range this year. That's how much we're not paying. So as your pastor, I feel a need to, for more than 4 years, we have struggled with this, and we're having to make decisions about, do we cut program? Do we cut staff who are leading these programs? How do we care for this? And I just want you to know this leadership team has wrestled for hours on how we address this. And so I ask first that you would pray for us. Pray for this congregation. Don't just walk out and say, I heard it, but really pray about what is God leading you, all of us, to do to continue to strengthen this congregation, to build this congregation, to bring more people, young people, families, people of all ages. I don't care what age. We need to connect people in this community with Jesus, and we need to keep working on doing that effectively. I believe God will take care of the money if we take care of spreading the word of Jesus Christ. Amen? Why don't we pray as we finish out our time? Gracious and loving God, we do thank you for this day where we've had worship and we've stopped to pause and to understand the vision for this congregation and the things you're calling us to do. We know all of it is imperfect. This budget is imperfect. Our process is imperfect. The people are imperfect. But you are helping us day by day. And so we just keep asking and we keep offering ourselves, Lord God, as people who want to rise up and take your hand and say, tell me what you need me to do, Lord, that I might do it. Thank you for this morning, for this time that we've had together as church family. Now send us home, maybe to get some rest this afternoon, to contemplate where you're calling us for this week, and to remind us that in all that we do and all that we are, you are with us. In Jesus' name we pray.